Today we're going to talk about one of the most exciting transformations you can do in your home. That's right, creating your dream kitchen. I imagine you probably have several questions on your mind that you would like to get answered. We've created a list of 7 of the most common questions that people ask when renovating their kitchen. How do I start the kitchen renovation process? Well, I personally would start with writing a list of what your needs are and what your wants are. So for example, the kitchen countertop is rotten because the sink has been leaking for a while. Well, that is important. That's a must. You got to deal with that. So what is the most important things to you, and what do you wish you could have in your kitchen? And also start a portfolio. Save a bunch of pictures online or on your phone of some of the things that you would love to see in your kitchen. Every single kitchen is completely different and unique, so no one is exactly the same, but just get some ideas of like finishes and colors and all those different styles that you like. And that will help when you engage with a designer and a company to help you plan your project. What are key design considerations for a kitchen renovation? Well, there are a lot of things to consider, and that's why I think it's important to have a designer help you plan a project like this. But let's cover some of those things. Well, you want storage, and you want smart storage. So I always like to have a pantry, and you can get them quite deep as well, so they can pack a lot of stuff in a pantry. And if you can, you know those corner cabinets? Try to eliminate those corner cabinets if you can, because they're not always the most efficient space. But if you have to have a corner cabinet, there's a lot of useful storage units that you can put in those corner cabinets, like these kidney-shaped units that pull out. You want to make sure that you have something that's smart and makes the most use of that cabinet. Another popular one that people often use is the Lazy Susan. It's not super politically correct, but that's what people still call it. On the lower cabinets, I would highly recommend, if you can, put drawers on the lower cabinets, because there's nothing worse than having to like get down on your hands and knees and look for those items in the back of the cabinet. They do cost a little bit more. It's way more efficient. Hi, my name is Dean Mitchell, and I've written a book for people just like you. It's called The Renovation Game Plan. It's to help homeowners plan projects from beginning to end and teach them how to work with the designers and the contractors on how to have a truly successful renovation project. It is a nominal amount of money, and I'm sure it'll save you potentially thousands of dollars and that nightmare renovation. Check it out in the description below. Another thing to consider is the flow of the kitchen. So if you have one person in your home, just you, 2, 3, or 5, or 6 people in your home, well, that is something to consider, because often if you more people in the house, they all end up cramming in that kitchen. And so you really want to consider what the flow is going to look like, so that when somebody walks through the kitchen, they're not walking right through the work area. And sometimes it's unavoidable depending on the size of the kitchen, but that is something to really consider. Also, make sure that you have sufficient lighting in the space, because there's nothing worse than having a kitchen completed and the lighting is not good. Do I need permits for my kitchen renovation? Well, there's multiple permits typically that somebody might need. So the first one is the building permit. That often is the one that takes a bit more work to get. And then there's an electrical permit, plumbing permit, gas permit. So oftentimes if you're moving walls, moving doorways, and some municipalities, even if you're moving drywall, they will want you to get permits for various different items. That's something I would contact your municipality about and find out if you actually need a permit or not. People often think, well, why do I need a permit? Well, there's multiple reasons why you would want a permit. One is to make sure that the guys that you hire are going to be doing things according to code. So it's not like the inspector is going to inspect every single element of their work, but you have a third party that's coming in and checking out the work. So yes, it is a little bit of a cost, but there's a benefit to having that done. How long does a typical kitchen renovation take? Well, it can vary quite a bit depending on what you're doing. And so if you're just refacing the cabinets and changing the countertops, for example, I mean, you could potentially do that in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you're removing drywall, redoing insulation, having to run wires back to the electrical panel, put in an extra lighting, all that stuff, you could spend 12 weeks doing a project, for example. What should I look for in a reliable contractor? Well, there's a lot of components to finding a reliable contractor. One is communication is key. Check out their past track record, maybe get some references as well. Take some time, maybe even work with your contractor to do some design and take it in steps. Do a little bit of design work and then a bit more, and then you finally get to the actual contract. So you're not just jumping into it and hoping that you're actually going to like this person, but spend that time over a number of months to get to know the team and to see if these are the people that you really want to deal with. But the most important thing that you want to have is a detailed contract. I mean, you don't want just a very vague contract. I would have things that are like nailed down exactly the materials that you want in your space in regards to like finishes, color, flooring, countertop. So absolutely everything is highly detailed before any sort of demolition starts. So if that's not done, personally, I would not sign a contract until I see something like that in place. Can I renovate my kitchen while living in the home? Yes, you can. I mean, I would say probably 80% of the people that we work with actually live in their home. It's not the best experience, but you can do it. So I mean, if you can, I would personally find another place to live, whether it's your parents or you rent a place. That is ideal because essentially you're living in a construction site. But if that is not an option for you because of cost or whatever it might be, yeah, you can live in your home. And what most people do is they actually will create a space where they're going to live. So they might live in the basement or they might live on the upper level, for example. But the most important thing that you need to do is, if you're not going to have a kitchen, is to set up a makeshift kitchen. So maybe it's your laundry room where you actually can wash dishes. You set up a hot plate, or it's next to the bathroom. So something like that can work really well. Also, some people have a basement suite in their home, and that is the perfect situation. What is the average cost of a kitchen renovation? Obviously, there are a lot of different factors. Where we're located here is Vancouver, Canada. If you're doing just facelift on the kitchen, you could spend 20 grand. You could go up to 100 and even beyond $100,000. If you're curious about what they cost in your area, check out the links below. So I hope answering these questions was helpful to you. If you found it helpful, please again, like, subscribe. I didn't answer one of those questions that you might have. Please leave it in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer your questions.